Have you ever found yourself at a crossroads, knowing deep down what you want to achieve, but held back by an invisible weight? Perhaps it's that promotion you crave but hesitate to pursue, or a personal goal that feels just out of reach because a whisper of, "I'm not ready," or "I don't have what it takes," echoes in your mind. This feeling, this pervasive self-doubt, can silently erode opportunities that might otherwise transform your life. What if I told you that true confidence isn't a trait you're born with, nor is it something you must passively wait for? It's a skill, a powerful inner muscle you can deliberately build and strengthen, brick by resilient brick. Or consider this. In a world that often feels chaotic and unpredictable, where news cycles churn negativity and daily life presents unexpected challenges, how do some individuals manage to remain so remarkably calm, collected, and steadfast? It's not about ignoring reality or suppressing emotions. It's about cultivating an inner fortress, a mind so robust it stands firm against any storm. Imagine being that person, the one who doesn't just survive adversity, but uses it as fuel for growth. Someone who commands quiet respect, not through shouting, but through unwavering presence and a profound sense of self-mastery. This isn't a fantasy. It's a journey, a Stoic journey, available to all of us. And finally, if you've ever felt the sting of failure, not just professionally but personally, perhaps a relationship ended, a project fell through, or you simply didn't live up to your own expectations, you understand how easy it is to let those moments define you, to let them plant seeds of inadequacy. But what if those very setbacks, those moments of perceived weakness, were actually your greatest teachers? What if failure wasn't an endpoint, but a compass, guiding you toward an even stronger, more resilient version of yourself? The wisdom of Stoicism offers a profound shift in perspective, transforming obstacles into opportunities for unparalleled mental fortitude. Welcome to StoicCraft, where we explore timeless wisdom for modern challenges. If you're ready to transcend self-doubt, fortify your spirit, and truly believe in your own power, then this is the channel for you. Let's delve into how you can cultivate a mind so strong, so unshakable, that it inspires not just yourself, but others around you. 1. Belief is a powerful choice, the architect of your reality. Have you ever observed how a deep-seated belief can profoundly shape someone's actions, almost as if it's already a tangible truth? Think of a child convinced they're a superhero. They'll leap with boundless enthusiasm. Now consider an employee who, despite clear capabilities, hesitates to speak up in meetings because they believe they're not good enough. Our beliefs aren't mere thoughts. They are the fundamental blueprints for our actions, and in turn, they sculpt the very reality we inhabit. Imagine entering an unfamiliar, high-end restaurant. If you believe you don't belong, your posture might slump, your voice might quiet, and your interactions might feel awkward. Every subtle cue in your body language would reflect that internal conviction. But what if, instead, you walked in with the silent assertion, "This place is for me, I belong here"? Instantly, your demeanor would shift. Your posture would straighten, your tone when ordering would be more assured, and your interactions with staff would flow effortlessly. The remarkable truth is that this feeling isn't externally imposed. It's an internal choice. You, and only you, hold the power to choose what you believe about yourself and your place in the world. Stoic philosophy. a fountain of ancient wisdom, teaches us a foundational truth. While we cannot dictate the external world, we possess absolute sovereignty over our internal landscape, how we perceive ourselves and our circumstances. As Epictetus wisely stated, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. This profound insight suggests that our actions should stem from our chosen identity, not the other way around. If you perpetually wait for external proof before you believe in your capabilities, you'll find yourself in an endless holding pattern. However, if you make the courageous decision to believe in yourself first, your subsequent actions will inevitably generate the evidence you seek. Consider two individuals aspiring to write a book. The first says, "I'm not sure if I can write well, but I'll try." The second declares with conviction, "I am a writer." Which one do you envision pouring more passion onto the page? Who will demonstrate greater resilience in the face of inevitable creative blocks? When you consciously choose to believe in something, your behavior naturally aligns with that belief, transforming it into a self-fulfilling prophecy. And as you consistently act from this place of conviction, a fascinating phenomenon occurs. Others begin to perceive you in the same light. I recall a friend, Mark, who yearned to be a musician, yet his constant refrain was, "I'm not good enough." This self-limiting belief held him captive. Every performance was tentative, a hesitant expression of his true talent. One day, a friend offered a simple yet transformative piece of advice. "Mark, act like a musician. Don't wait for external validation. You have to believe it first." This conversation became a turning point. Mark decided to embody the identity of a musician, not merely a dreamer or someone trying. He began playing and writing with newfound confidence, performing with a liberated spirit. And remarkably, the world around him began to reflect this change. Others saw him as a true musician. Mark's journey wasn't magical. It was a testament to the undeniable power of self-belief. When you genuinely believe in yourself, your actions inspire belief in others. Conversely, if you harbor self-doubt, others will inevitably sense and reflect that doubt. This isn't about conjuring an illusion or engaging in self-deception. It's about making a deliberate, intentional choice regarding your self-perception. Try a simple exercise. Identify something you aspire to become a more confident leader, a calmer individual in stressful situations, or someone who excels in a particular area. Now consciously choose to believe that you are that person, right here, right now. Not after achieving some milestone, not after receiving external accolades, but in this very moment. Allow your mind to adjust to this new conviction and observe how your behavior suddenly begins to shift. Some might question, but what if the belief I choose isn't entirely true? Remember, you are never obligated to entertain beliefs that diminish you. If you have the power to choose, why not opt for beliefs that amplify your strengths? You've likely spent years internalizing limitations, telling yourself you're not smart enough, capable enough, or special enough. What transformative possibilities might unfold if you dared to believe the absolute opposite? A timeless truth, echoed in ancient texts, reminds us, "As he thinketh in his heart, so is he." What you consistently believe about yourself, you ultimately become. If you view yourself as insignificant, your actions will mirror that perception. If you truly grasp your inherent value, you will carry yourself with dignity and purpose. The world doesn't merely reflect your reality. It adjusts to the way you treat yourself. Take a moment to introspect. Are the beliefs you hold about yourself empowering you or holding you back? If they aren't serving your highest good, understand that you possess the power to change them right now. No external permission is required. No further proof is necessary. The only prerequisite is your decision. And if you're wondering how to sustain this newfound belief, how your brain actually works to embed these convictions, understanding its mechanics will empower you to seize control of your thoughts and integrate belief as an intrinsic part of who you are. This brings us to our next crucial insight. 2. Unlock your mind with brain programming. Rewiring for resilience. Have you ever embarked on a journey to change a deep-seated habit? Perhaps waking earlier, embracing healthier eating, or mastering a new skill. Initially, the effort feels monumental, as if you're battling your own internal resistance. But with consistent effort, a remarkable shift occurs. One day you realize, this is becoming easier. This isn't magic. It's a testament to the incredible adaptability of your brain. The human brain is not a rigid, fixed machine. Instead, it functions more like a dynamic landscape, where every repeated thought or action carves a neural pathway, much like a well-worn path through a field. The exciting news? These pathways can be reshaped, even entirely new ones forged. Science calls this neuroplasticity, the brain's inherent capacity to reorganize itself. This means if you've habitually entertained negative thoughts about yourself, if you've consistently believed you're not capable or intelligent enough, that's not an immutable truth. It's merely a well-trodden neural path. The liberating news is that you possess the power to forge a new one. Recall the initial days of learning to drive. It was likely overwhelming. The simultaneous demands of gas, brakes, mirrors, other vehicles, and the occasional surge of panic. Yet with practice, these individual actions merged into a seamless automatic response. Your brain adapted, creating new neural connections that transformed a once complex task into an effortless one. This illustrates a profound point. Your mindset is not fixed. If you currently struggle with self-belief, if life feels like a dead end, that is not your destined outcome. It is a temporary chapter, and you hold the pen to write the next one. Differently. So how do you begin this rewiring process? The first step is to meticulously curate what you feed your mind each day. If your daily regimen involves endless social media scrolling, constant exposure to negative news, and absorption of complaints from those around you, you are in essence programming your brain for negativity. Conversely, if you dedicate time to reading inspiring books, listening to uplifting stories, or acquiring new knowledge, you are actively constructing a different mental pathway, a path of growth and empowerment. Try a simple, yet profoundly effective, experiment for the next week. Instead of mindlessly scrolling on your phone before sleep, commit to reading just one page of a valuable book. Observe how this tiny shift begins to subtly reorient your mind. However, knowledge acquisition alone is insufficient. The right environment is equally critical. Have you noticed how being in the company of optimistic individuals seems to lighten your spirit, making life feel more manageable? Conversely, a constant immersion in negativity can make everything seem arduous. This is because human beings are naturally inclined to mirror the emotions and mindsets of those around them. If your aim is to transform your thinking, intentionally seek out and spend time with people who inspire you, who challenge you to reach for a better version of yourself. Consider David's experience. He was trapped in a job he loathed, paralyzed by the recurring thought, "I can't do anything else." Then a chance encounter with an old friend who had courageously left his own job to pursue a passion ignited a spark. David's friend didn't explicitly tell him to change. He simply shared his story. But that narrative alone prompted a shift in David's perspective. He began to ponder, could I do the same? That single question was the catalyst. He started exploring new skills, seeking out different opportunities, and within a year, he was on a completely new path. If you feel stuck today, it might not be due to a lack of options, but rather a lack of challenging your own ingrained assumptions about what's possible. Even ancient wisdom reminds us, do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. 18. Don't merely follow the familiar trails. Actively reshape your thought patterns. However, be mindful that rewiring your mind is not an instant transformation. It's akin to physical training. You don't expect a sculpted physique after a single gym session. It demands consistency and daily practice. But if you remain steadfast in your commitment, you will experience an incredible realization. You are no longer the person you once were. You are no longer confined by the negative thoughts you once accepted as truth. You will perceive yourself differently, stronger, clearer, more capable. And if you've resonated with these words thus far, something profound is already stirring within you. A question might be forming, can I truly reprogram my thinking? And if that question has arisen, then the answer is a resounding yes. You've already begun. We all navigate moments of doubt and struggle. Yet, what truly matters isn't just the challenge itself, but how you navigate through it and the invaluable lessons you glean. Have you ever faced a moment where you lost faith in yourself, only to discover an inner strength that allowed you to rise again? Share your journey in the comments below, because your story might be precisely the inspiration someone else needs to hear today. And if you're committed to continuously strengthening your mindset, subscribe to this channel so you don't miss our upcoming insights. 3. Be unbreakable with the power of belief. Forging inner strength. If anyone suggests that life is a perpetually smooth path, they simply haven't journeyed far enough. Inevitably, you will find yourself caught in unexpected storms. A sudden job loss, a betrayal from a trusted confidant, or a late-night phone call that irrevocably alters your world. In such moments, what differentiates those who stand firm from those who crumble? It's not luck, nor is it inherent talent. It is faith, the unwavering conviction that you possess the capacity to endure, to adapt, and to continue moving forward, even when your entire world seems to be collapsing around you. But faith is not a switch that magically appears when adversity strikes. It is a mental muscle that demands daily training. Imagine a marathon runner who is never trained. Would they endure on race day? The Stoics deeply understood this principle. They didn't passively await hardship. Instead, they diligently prepared their minds each day through their conscious thoughts, their deliberate reactions, and, most critically, their approach to the unexpected. A simple yet potent method to cultivate your faith is to reframe your perception of adversity. Instead of viewing challenges as an unjust punishment, see them as a meticulously designed test. A weightlifter doesn't complain about heavy weights. They understand that resistance is the very force that builds strength. Similarly, when confronted with difficulties, ask yourself, what invaluable lesson can I extract from this? A betrayal can teach you discernment and trust. A professional setback can hone your adaptability. A profound loss can deepen your appreciation for what you hold dear. The Stoics never wallowed in, "Why is this happening to me?" Instead, their inquiry was, always, "How can I grow from this experience?" Yet, how do you sustain faith when the weight of overwhelm presses down? One potent strategy is to cultivate mental habits that anchor you, even when the external world is in turmoil. Marcus Aurelius, the revered Stoic emperor, daily reminded himself that he would encounter selfish, greedy, and ungrateful individuals. This wasn't pessimism, it was strategic preparation. When you mentally prepare for potential challenges, you are less likely to be caught off guard or thrown off balance when they materialize. You can adopt this practice. Dedicate a few minutes each day to contemplate, what's the worst-case scenario? If you fear losing your job, what's truly the worst outcome? You'd find a new role, perhaps adapt to a more frugal lifestyle for a period. By dissecting your fears in this manner, you often realize they are far less terrifying than they initially appear. The true fear isn't the loss itself. It's the unsettling sensation of losing control. But the immutable truth is this: you always retain control over your response. A powerful illustration of enduring faith can be found in the timeless story of Job. He suffered unimaginable losses, his wealth, his family, his health. Yet, through it all, he never surrendered his faith in himself or in divine justice. Ultimately, he persevered and was restored. This narrative profoundly mirrors the Stoic mindset. What befalls you is secondary to how you choose to respond. Consider it pure joy, my brothers and sisters, whenever you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. If you can learn to perceive challenges as tests rather than endpoints, you already possess a significant advantage over most. Reflect on your own life. How many times have you navigated through seemingly unbearable experiences, only to emerge stronger and more capable on the other side? Challenges that seem insurmountable today will, in years to come, likely appear as mere stepping stones in your journey of growth. So why not choose to believe in yourself now? Why not trust that regardless of what unfolds, you possess the innate capacity to rise and persist? Faith is not an ethereal concept. It is a conscious choice. It doesn't demand naive optimism, but rather a deep understanding that you always have the power to adapt and overcome. Focus relentlessly on what is within your sphere of control and graciously release what is not. If a worry consumes you today, try asking, can I choose to perceive this differently? Do not allow external circumstances to dictate your intrinsic worth. Believe that you can stand resolute, even when everything else around you seems to be crumbling And once you have cultivated this unshakable faith, what comes next? The mastery of your emotions. Because regardless of how robust your self-belief, if you permit your emotions to run wild, you will inevitably lose your footing. This is our next vital lesson. 4. Don't let emotions hijack your beliefs. The art of inner calm. Have you ever experienced a day where everything seemed to be flowing smoothly, only for a single thoughtless comment from someone to completely derail your mood? Or perhaps you felt incredibly motivated only to have a minor setback send you spiraling into self-doubt. These are classic instances of allowing our emotions to seize control of our self-belief. Emotions are transient, ever-shifting, much like the weather. A morning may dawn bright and clear only for storms to gather by afternoon. If you permit your confidence to be tethered to these fluctuating emotional states, it's akin to gambling your life's trajectory on something inherently unstable. Stoic philosophy does not advocate for an emotionless existence or the suppression of feelings. Instead, it champions the intelligent management of our emotions so that they become our servants, not our masters. A true Stoic is not someone who never experiences fear or disappointment, but rather someone who understands that emotions are temporary reactions, not absolute truths. If you feel a wave of worthlessness today, that doesn't define your true value. If you feel inadequate, it doesn't mean you lack the capacity for growth. Consider someone on a weight loss journey. In the initial week, they are brimming with enthusiasm, diligently adhering to their diet and exercise routine. But then, one evening, they overeat at dinner. Immediately, guilt and frustration surge. I'm so weak. I'll never succeed. If they allow these powerful emotions to dominate, they might abandon their efforts and revert to old habits. But what would a Stoic do? They would observe the situation objectively. I overate this one meal, but that single incident does not define me as a failure. I can simply get back on track tomorrow. And with that rational resolve, they continue their journey, refusing to let a fleeting emotional setback derail their long-term progress. Psychological research highlights a natural human tendency known as negativity bias. Our brains are hardwired to give greater weight to negative experiences. A single criticism can linger in our minds for weeks, while a compliment often fades swiftly. This means that if you don't consciously and deliberately adjust your perspective, you will perpetually be dragged down by negative emotions. So how do you prevent emotions from dictating your self-belief? First, cultivate the habit of recognition. When negative emotions arise, instead of reacting impulsively, ask yourself, is this truly a factual reality or merely a temporary emotional reaction? If someone criticizes your work, does that truly render you incompetent? Or is it simply feedback that can guide your improvement? If you feel inadequate, is it an objective truth, or simply fear speaking to you? Second, embrace the practice of objectivity. Journaling is a simple yet profoundly powerful technique. Marcus Aurelius habitually recorded his thoughts each night, meticulously adjusting his mindset. If you've had a difficult day, write, "Today I felt disappointed because I didn't complete my tasks as planned. But does this failure signify incompetence? Or is it a valuable lesson for improvement?" Third, anchor your trust in action, not emotions. True confidence doesn't magically appear from repeating affirmations like, "I'm great." or I'm talented. It emerges from the consistent, small actions you take every single day. A person doesn't become physically strong by merely believing they are strong. They become strong through consistent training. A truly confident individual isn't someone immune to doubt, but someone who chooses to move forward despite their doubts. Let me share the story of David, a new sales representative. Initially enthusiastic, he soon faced a daily barrage of rejections. Each no from a potential client chipped away at his spirit, leading to deep disappointment and questioning his suitability for the role. But instead of allowing these negative emotions to dictate his future, David chose a different path. He meticulously documented each rejection, not as a failure, but as data for learning. He observed his more experienced colleagues, refined his sales pitch, and adapted his approach. Within a month, he began to close his first deals. What truly changed for David? Not his external circumstances, but his internal mastery of his emotions. Now reflect on your own life. How many times have you abandoned a pursuit simply because of a fleeting emotion? How often have you succumbed to self-doubt due to a temporary setback? If you've absorbed these insights, congratulations, you're actively training your mindset, rather than passively being swayed by emotions. Keep going, because the most vital part still awaits. Discovering practical, actionable strategies to apply these principles in your own life. And remember, if this content resonated with you, a simple like can make a world of difference. Your small action might just help someone else reclaim the confidence they've lost. 5. Is your brain wired for success? Overcoming limiting belief. Does your brain genuinely seek your success? The answer might be surprising. Not exactly. Imagine yourself standing on the edge of a towering cliff, gazing down at the deep blue water below. You understand you can jump. The water is ample, and you've witnessed others do it effortlessly. Yet your feet remain rooted to the ground, your heart pounds, and a nagging voice in your head whispers, "What if I get hurt? What if I do it wrong? What if I'm simply not capable?" This isn't merely a fleeting moment of hesitation. It's a profound illustration of how your brain operates. Its primary directive isn't success, it's safety, and sometimes that very instinct for self-preservation becomes the most formidable barrier to achieving what you truly desire. This internal struggle is universally experienced. A gifted individual hesitates to apply for their dream job. Someone with a brilliant idea remains silent in a crucial meeting, or an aspiring entrepreneur perpetually postpones launching their business, paralyzed by the fear of failure. These formidable barriers don't originate externally. They emanate from within you, from limiting beliefs you've unconsciously embraced. If you fail to recognize and confront them, you risk spending your entire life confined within a self-constructed cage. Allow me to share Michael's story. From childhood, he possessed an undeniable passion for painting, immersing himself for hours, completely oblivious to time. One day, he proudly presented a drawing to his teacher, hoping for encouragement. Instead, the teacher casually remarked, "It's not bad, but likely not good enough for you to be a professional artist." Those words, though perhaps not intended to be malicious, planted a toxic seed in Michael's mind. For years thereafter, whenever he contemplated pursuing art, an insidious voice echoed, "You're not good enough. You're just wasting your time." He internalized this belief and instead Of becoming an artist, he chose a safe, predictable office job. But here's the critical insight he missed. His belief wasn't an absolute truth. It was merely a thought, one he had repeated so frequently that it solidified into his reality. As Marcus Aurelius wisely observed, the happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. If you believe you are not good enough, you will unconsciously act in ways that reinforce that belief. You won't try as hard, you won't take necessary risks, and you won't experience growth. Ultimately, that belief becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. But what if Michael had posed a different question? Instead of dwelling on, "I'm not good enough," what if he had asked, "What if I genuinely gave it my all?" What if he had refused to allow past pronouncements to dictate his future? What if he had focused on action over fear? Such a shift in perspective would have profoundly altered his trajectory. So how do you liberate yourself from these insidious, limiting beliefs? A crucial first step is to identify these negative thought patterns. Pay close attention to the narratives you construct when confronting a significant opportunity. Do you hear internal dialogues like, "I'm not skilled enough," or "I'll probably fail"? 6. Habits you must break to grow. Shedding the invisible chains, we often engage in seemingly insignificant daily habits without ever pausing to ask a crucial question. Why do I feel perpetually stuck in the same place? It's rarely due to a lack of inherent potential. More often, it's because we unknowingly cling to habits that subtly imprison our minds. A truly strong mind isn't forged by fleeting moments of high-minded thought. It's meticulously sculpted by deliberately clearing away the mental clutter we accumulate over time. You cannot ascend to the heights of a warrior if your mornings are habitually consumed by complaining, procrastination, and an incessant pursuit of comfort. Complaining, while offering momentary relief, is a subtle yet potent toxin for the mind. When you grumble about your job, your colleagues, the weather, or traffic, you are, in essence, sending a clear message to your brain. I am powerless. I am not in control. Worse, you begin to internalize this belief. While it may provide fleeting comfort, it ultimately traps you within the same unchanging reality. Have you ever observed a truly calm, composed individual who is consistently focused on solutions, yet simultaneously engages in constant complaining? Mentally robust individuals choose either decisive action or dignified silence. If something can be remedied, they act. If it cannot, they release it. Anything in between simply drains your vital life energy. The next time you feel the urge to complain, pause and ask yourself, what tangible action can I take right now to alter this situation? If the honest answer is nothing, then exhale, release the grievance, and gracefully move forward. Another cunningly disguised trap is comfort. We are incessantly enticed by the soft chair, the perfectly temperate room, the easy option, the familiar path. Yet the comfort zone is precisely where growth withers and dies. Stoicism does not advocate for emotional detachment or a cold demeanor. Instead, it teaches us to embrace discomfort as an inseparable and necessary component of life itself. When you skip a workout because you feel tired, when you remain silent because you fear offending, when you postpone a crucial decision because you feel unready, you're sending a clear message to yourself. Today, I choose stagnation over growth. True growth doesn't solely emerge from what you read or listen to. It arises directly from your willingness to intentionally step into discomfort each day. Choose one small thing that genuinely stretches you. Wake up 30 minutes earlier. Deliver a clear and confident no when necessary, or attempt a new skill that makes you feel awkward and clumsy. These seemingly minor acts are how you expand your inner frontier. 44. We are also master architects of excuses. The reasons often sound perfectly logical and convincing. I'm too busy. I don't have enough time. I'm just not that kind of person. However, excuses are merely elegant disguises for fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of profound change. The inherent danger is that we begin to treat these excuses as immutable truths. Individuals with strong minds do not fabricate excuses. They confront reality head-on and assume full responsibility. They do not passively await motivation. They act based on a clear, compelling reason. Ask yourself this: what aspect of my life remains stuck simply because I continue to construct elaborate excuses? There is one more deeply ingrained habit we often overlook: the insatiable need for approval. We are all human, and as such we naturally crave recognition, praise, and agreement. But when your mind becomes subservient to the opinions of others, you inevitably lose yourself. You contort yourself to fit in, you hesitate over critical decisions, constantly worrying about what will they think, and slowly your authentic core begins to fade. A true Stoic understands that the only approval that genuinely matters emanates from their own conscience. Epictetus famously wrote, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." When you shed the desperate need to be understood or applauded, you take your first decisive steps toward genuine inner freedom. Here's the beautiful paradox. When you consciously release these old, debilitating habits, you don't feel empty. Instead, you feel an incredible lightness, as if you've cut sandbags from a hot air balloon, allowing you to ascend. You don't require more. You require less complaining, less comfort-seeking, less excuse-making, less craving for external validation. And in that process, you will encounter a version of yourself you've never known before. Calm, clear, and truly unshakable. Pause for a moment, just one deep breath. Close your eyes and honestly ask yourself, am I actively nurturing my mind? Or am I unknowingly sabotaging it each day? What is the single habit I consistently engage in that I know is holding me back? You don't need to undertake a complete life overhaul overnight. Simply start today with one thing, one habit you unequivocally know is limiting you. Stop it. No grand promises, no overthinking, just do it. Every small act of conscious choice is a powerful hammer low against the wall, confining your willpower. And one day you won't need to feign strength anymore. You will simply be strong, and then you'll be ready for the next profound chapter, not merely eliminating the negative, but proactively building the good concrete daily practices to forge lasting inner strength, a solid foundation that will remain steadfast regardless of how chaotic life becomes. 7. Daily practices for inner strength. Building your inner fortress after dismantling outdated beliefs, shedding self-sabotaging habits, and releasing the mental crutches you once relied upon. You find yourself standing on bare, unencumbered ground. There is nothing left to cling to but crucially, nothing left to hold you back. This isn't a terrifying void. It is an immense opportunity, the precise point where you begin to reconstruct. Not a temporary shelter to merely survive the day, but a solid, enduring home for your mind. Every brick you lay isn't just knowledge. It's consistent, steady, tangible action. Stoicism is not merely a philosophy to intellectually grasp, it is a profound discipline to live. And you cannot live it unless you practice it diligently every single day. Strangely, many people perceive mental strength as some mystical attribute or an inherited gift. However, the Stoics possessed a far deeper understanding. The mind is a construction site. You build it brick by brick, beam by beam, through unwavering discipline, resolute willpower, and even seemingly trivial acts. Consider taking a cold shower in the morning. It doesn't instantly transform you into a hero, but it serves as the day's very first test. Will you consciously choose discomfort to reclaim control, or will you allow old habits to drag you back into weakness? Then there is movement. A weak body can scarcely support a truly strong mind. The ancient Romans, masters of practical wisdom, understood this symbiotic relationship. They recognized that the body is an instrument of the will. When you lift weights, run, or engage in push-ups, you are not merely training muscles. You are forging endurance, cultivating grit, and, above all, building profound self-respect. You committed to yourself and you delivered rain or shine, witnessed or not. So honestly ask yourself, how long has it been since you last broke a promise to yourself regarding your physical well-being? However, intensity is only half the equation. The other half is depth. A true Stoic carves out a few minutes each day to deliberately step back from the incessant noise, to silence everything external, and to genuinely listen to their inner landscape. Call it meditation, stillness, or quiet contemplation. What matters is this fundamental truth. No one can truly master their emotions if they have never taken the time to simply observe them. When the world attempts to pull you into its chaos, only this kind of profound inner training can keep you anchored and grounded, preventing you from being tossed about like a leaf in a storm. And then there is the one practice most people assiduously avoid, the daily choice to challenge yourself, not for external display, but for internal sharpening. Wake up precisely when your alarm rings. Resist the urge to snooze. Send that uncomfortable email you've been dreading. Learn the new skill that makes you feel clumsy and slow. These actions are individually small, yet each time you embrace them, you lay another brick of indomitable willpower. Conversely, every time you evade them, you carve a deeper hole within yourself, eroding your inner fortitude. Epictetus, another cornerstone of Stoic thought, declared, "No man is free who is not master of himself." This isn't a line to simply understand. It is a principle to live. The freedom you seek is not to be found externally. It resides within your capacity to execute what needs to be done, even when you feel absolutely no inclination to do it. So, be candid. When was the last time you consciously chose the more challenging path over the easier one? When did you last firmly say no to immediate comfort in order to say a resounding yes to your own growth? A strong mind does not crave external praise. It operates in quiet efficacy. It does not overreact, nor does it allow itself to be pushed around. People may not articulate why you seem different, but they will undeniably feel it. And sometimes they will even fear the quiet, formidable power you carry. If you genuinely aspire to build this profound level of strength, begin tomorrow, or even better, begin today. Take that cold shower, move your body, sit in deliberate silence, embrace the difficult thing you've been avoiding. Do it not because you feel motivated, but because you are systematically constructing a mind that cannot be shaken. There will be no applause, no immediate rewards, just the quiet, unassailable knowing that you're becoming as solid as stone. And if you ever feel tired, discouraged, or on the verge of quitting, pause, breathe. Notice the discomfort. Realize that this momentary unease will not break you. It is merely asking, are you worthy of the stronger version of yourself that awaits? Because once you begin to observe the profound shifts in your reactions, your unwavering calm amidst chaos, your firm grip on anger, laziness, and fear, you will know with absolute certainty that you are no longer the person you once were. And that, my friend, is when you are truly ready for the next profound lesson, the one every true Stoic dedicates a lifetime to learning how to rethink failure, not to avoid it, but to befriend it and leverage it to become utterly unshakable. 8. Rethink failure like a Stoic, your toughest teacher failure. It's a concept most of us are conditioned to meticulously avoid, to discreetly hide, or to move past with the utmost haste, as if it were a perilous trap on the grand highway of life, reserved only for the careless. Yet, to a Stoic, failure is not a trap. It is an invaluable map. It's a map that few willingly embrace, but one that every individual who has achieved true depth and mastery has, at some point, learned to read. Failure unequivocally reveals your vulnerabilities, illuminates areas where your understanding is incomplete, and highlights where your perceived strength was insufficient. Most people perceive it as a definitive end. A Stoic, however, greets it with a stern, knowing nod, an invitation to adjust course and move resolutely forward. If you've ever experienced the sting of a lost job, the quiet pain of rejection, or the feeling of utter invisibility in a crowded room, you have encountered failure. And if in those moments your only recourse was self-blame, lashing out, or rushing desperately for comfort, then you tragically missed a rare and potent opportunity to truly train your mind. A truly strong mind is not one that possesses all the answers. It is one that dares to sit patiently with failure and pose the penetrating question, what profound lesson are you here to impart to me? The truly successful, those who command respect without uttering a single boast, are precisely the individuals who have asked that very question countless times and patiently awaited the often uncomfortable answers. Catherine Schultz, a Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist, dedicated an entire book, Being Wrong, to underscore a deeply uncomfortable truth. The most insightful and accomplished individuals are often those who have been wrong the most. However, they don't languish in their mistakes. They observe them with the detached curiosity of a scientist conducting an experiment devoid of shame, free from excuses, and entirely without defensiveness. If you fail, you learn. If you learn, you grow. And that, my friend, is how they surpass those who cling desperately to the illusion of being perpetually right. Reflect for a moment. What mistake have you made that still, to this day, prevents you from trying again? The ego that refuses to acknowledge fault constructs the quietest, yet most impregnable prison you will ever inhabit. A Stoic does not deny their flaws. They embrace them as the foundational stepping stones to genuine inner strength. Because if you cannot gracefully handle being wrong, you will never truly progress toward becoming better. Sarah Blakely, the self-made billionaire founder of Spanx, shared a powerful anecdote. Her father would regularly ask her, "What did you fail at today?" While this might sound like a cruel jest, it achieved something many parents are too afraid to do. It conditioned her from an early age to confront failure head-on. For Blakely, failure wasn't evidence of inadequacy. It was tangible, proof that she was daring to reach, to push her boundaries. When her groundbreaking idea for Spanx faced dozens of rejections, she didn't succumb to shame. Instead, she felt herself moving closer to an eventual yes. You might believe you're fundamentally different from Blakely, but the truth is you are more alike than you realize. The critical difference lies in her deliberate training of her brain, not to flinch every time the world delivered a no. The Stoics approach the training of the mind with the same deliberate precision that a blacksmith tempers steel. They understand that no blade is truly sharpened in warm water. Failure is the forge, the unyielding anvil, the rhythmic hammer's strike. And every time you stumble, you face a profound choice: to shrink back into your old familiar shape, or to courageously embrace the heat and fundamentally remake yourself into something stronger. Epictetus declared, "Difficulties show men what they are." It is not success, not praise, not fleeting moments of recognition that truly reveal who you are. It is failure, hardship, and loss that strip you down to your core. And only when you dare to look unflinchingly at what truly remains does the process of rebuilding hold any genuine meaning. The fundamental problem is that no one truly teaches us how to fail well. We are meticulously instructed on how to win, how to be intelligent, how to surpass others. But no one shows us how to witness a loved one depart without losing our own self-worth, how to stare at a report card filled with FS without internalizing the belief that we are worthless, or how to experience profound failure and remain fully present through the experience. A Stoic is not someone immune to pain. They are someone who feels deeply, yet refuses to lose themselves within that pain. If your aspiration is to cultivate a mind so formidable, it makes others pause before underestimating you. Begin at your weakest point, the very failure you are still too terrified to face. Write it down. Look at it. Do not judge it. Simply learn from it. And the next time failure inevitably knocks, do not pretend you are not home. Open the door, offer it a quiet cup of tea, and with genuine curiosity ask, "What are you here to teach me this?" Time? If you're still reading, if you've journeyed through more than half of this exploration with me, you are not merely passively listening to a discourse. You are actively learning to stand within the crucible of transformation. We are not here to offer shallow comforts. We are here to remind you that there is an untapped reservoir of strength within you that is yet to be fully awakened. And failure, ironically, holds the key dot. If this profound perspective on failure has resonated with you, please hit the like button. And don't leave just yet, because what comes next isn't a repetition of old ideas. These are the final decisive blows in the forge, designed to shape a mind of steel, a mind no one else can shatter. No one can undertake this profound inner work for you, but if you commit to it, trust me, the world will not be able to ignore the powerful, unshakable individual you become. 9. Master your emotions under fire. The calm in the storm. Try to recall the last time someone's words caused you pain. Perhaps it was an offhand remark, a sharp comment, or merely a dismissive glance during a meeting. In that immediate moment, did your blood surge, your heart pound faster, your throat tighten with a rising anger? Did you feel an overwhelming urge to retaliate, to snap back? This reaction is entirely instinctive and understandable, yet it is not always the most effective or necessary response. Emotions are akin to steam in a pressure cooker. If you prematurely lift the lid, the steam explodes outward, scalding everything in its path. However, if you skillfully manage the internal heat, you can prepare an incredible meal without causing any harm. The problem isn't the pressure cooker itself. It's whether you possess the knowledge and discipline to control the flame beneath it. Stoicism does not demand that you become emotionless or detached from your feelings. Instead, it poses a single pivotal question. Is what you are reacting to truly worth sacrificing your precious peace of mind? Is it truly worth brooding for 3 days over a petty online comment? Is it worth slamming the table in a meeting simply because someone disagreed with your viewpoint? Is it worth sulking throughout an entire day because of one condescending look? Emotions are not inherently malevolent. They are messengers. But you possess the profound choice to simply read and interpret these messages rather than being swept away and controlled by them. Consider a job interview scenario. A candidate enters, possessing an impressive resume and solid experience, but carrying a subtle tension in their demeanor. The interviewer raises an eyebrow, signaling a hidden concern. Instead of reacting defensively, the candidate pauses, offers a calm smile, and gently asks, "Could you share any concerns you might have? I would genuinely appreciate the opportunity to address them." A profound silence descends upon the room. No one anticipated such poise, such unshakable calm. It wasn't merely an answer, it was a powerful signal. I am not easily shaken. Individuals who exhibit such inner steadiness command a unique form of respect, not necessarily because they are the most intellectually brilliant in the room, but because they remain grounded and composed under pressure. Marcus Aurelius, with his profound wisdom, famously declared, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. No elaborate rhetoric, no lofty philosophical abstractions, just the unvarnished truth. It's a truth that many instinctively avoid, because if one truly embraced the depth of control they possess over their own mind, they would have no lingering excuse for losing it over someone else's behavior. I once heard a man in his 50s share a valuable lesson. "It took me 15 years to learn not to argue back when my wife is upset. Not because I'm afraid, but because I've learned that when someone is angry, they often utter things they don't truly mean, and I choose not to escalate the situation." He wasn't a philosopher by trade, but in that moment he embodied the very essence of a true Stoic. He chose the calm, rational response over the instinctive, Emotional one. This isn't about becoming cold or indifferent. It's about building a robust emotional intelligence that allows you to respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. It's about recognizing that while you can't control the initial spark of an emotion, you absolutely control how you fan that flame. When you master your emotions under fire, you become a beacon of quiet strength, a person others instinctively trust and respect, because they sense an inner stability that is rare in a world so easily swayed by fleeting feelings. You become someone who navigates the complexities of life with an unwavering calm, someone who is truly, deeply in control of themselves. This journey through Stoic wisdom is a path of continuous cultivation. It's about understanding that confidence, resilience, and inner peace are not innate gifts, but skills honed through deliberate practice and a profound shift in perspective. By choosing your beliefs wisely, by actively reprogramming your mind, by embracing challenges as opportunities for growth, and by mastering your emotional responses, you are building an inner fortress that will serve you throughout your life. Remember, self-belief isn't born from external validation. It's forged internally through consistent self-affirmation and disciplined action. When you embrace this truth, you don't merely take control of your destiny. You become its true architect, ready to forge your unshakable mind. If this deep dive into Stoic principles has resonated with you, if you're ready to cultivate a powerful mindset, take command of your life and unleash the strongest version of yourself, then the journey has only just begun. Hit that like button if you found this video insightful and empowering. Your small action can help someone else discover this transformative wisdom. Share your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Your personal story of overcoming self-doubt or facing adversity might be precisely what someone else needs to hear today. And most importantly, subscribe to StoicCraft to join our growing community. There's so much more valuable content coming your way, meticulously designed to equip you with the tools to live with unparalleled consistency, calm, and control. Don't miss out on your path to inner mastery.